Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Robinson here again. This time we're going to do a little short mathematics in 1 minute. Our topic we're going to discuss today is area and circumference of a circle. So let me first start off with a couple of things that you should know. And once we get these definitions down, we'll be able to start our 1 minute clock. Okay, so here we go. So diameter equals 2 radius or radii. Radius equals half the diameter. A diameter, here we have a circle with a long line in it or two short lines in it. So it's a long line that cuts a circle in half, and radius is half of that long line. So the radius is half of the long line, and the diameter is two of those short lines put together, or just a long line. So now that you know the difference, we can start our 1 minute clock. So here we go. All right, so is this a radius or a diameter? Well, I see it's a long line, so it must be a diameter. Correct. What do you think this is? Oh, it's short line. It's half the size of that long line, so it must be a radius. So I'm good at that. So is this a radius or diameter? You tell me. I see 10 yards, this red long line, so maybe that'll help you. Oh, how much is the question mark if the D, and I believe D stands for diameter, equals 10 yards? So this long line is 10 yards, and they only want the half part of it. Well, what's half of 10? 5. So the diameter was 10. So the radius, which is that little red line, is half the size of the diameter, and half of 10 is 5. And here's one for you. So find the red question mark if the diameter is 12 yards. We only want half the size, so you should be able to do that. Here's another one for you. Find the question mark if the D diameter equals 8 yards. So give that a try. Hopefully you're getting it. If you're not, rewatch the video and go over those definitions that we just done. All right, let's go this way now. So here, find how much is the D for diameter if the R is equal to 2 millimeters. So the radius is 2 millimeters. If you remember, the radius is the short line, and you need two of those together to make a diameter. So that means I need another 2 millimeters to make the whole long line. So the diameter is equal to 2 radius, or 2 times 2 would be 4. So that's what the diameter would be. So here's one for you. How much is the diameter if the radius, again, is 4 millimeters? The radius is the half of the diameter. So I need 2 of these radius put together to equal a long line. So I'd have 4 plus another 4 equal to the diameter of 8. Or I could just say 2 times the radius equals 8. So I hope you're getting it so far. Here's one for you again. How much is the diameter if the radius is 5? Oh, this one's cute. How much is the diameter if the radius is a half? Well, you know our little formula. Let's write that out because I'd like to see that. The diameter, D for diameter, equals 2 times the radius. So all I got to do is take 2 and multiply it by 1/2, which is the radius. So 2 times 1/2 equals 1, or half of 2 is 1. So the radius is a half, and 2 times that is the diameter. So the diameter is 1 millimeter. So that was a cute one with fractions. I haven't done that in a while. So I hope you're getting this. If you're not sure, rewatch the video and write down your questions. Bring them into class, and I'll be glad to answer them. All right, so remember, the diameter is 2 times the size of the radius. The radius is half the size of the diameter, and that's how you get it. Remember, 2 short lines will give you a diameter. So that red line and that black line together will give you a diameter. A radius is a short line. It's half the size of the long line. So that's how you know the difference between radius. I call the radius a runt because it's short. Diameter is Big Daddy. Okay? And let's look at it this way now. Suppose I give it to you this way without a drawing. Can you figure out how much is the diameter if the radius is 10? Take a look at those formulas. Remember, the radius is this little guy. The diameter is 2 times the size of the radius. So 2 times 10 will equal to 20. And that's the size of the diameter. Oh, but they gave us the diameter this time, Dr. Rob. Well, remember, the radius is half the size of the diameter. So I got to take the diameter and divide it in half. So divide it by 2. So instead of multiplying by 2, I'm going to divide by 2, doing the opposite. So 2 divided into 5, that gives me 2.5. So that's half the size. So see if you can try these two. The diameter is 8. So how much is the radius? So the diameter is a long line. The radius is half the size. So I would just divide that in half. And that'll give me the radius. So here's the radius is 3. How much is the diameter? Remember, the radius is the little guy. So you need 2 of him to equal one of these big daddy diameters. Here's some more for you to try. I'm not going to bother you with them. I'll let you deal with them. So I hope you're getting what's going on. If you're not sure, rewatch the video and bring in your questions. See if you get them right. I got to talk a minute about because my minute is over now, the reference sheet formula. On the 7th grade state test, as well as the others, they give you a formula sheet of references like conversions that you need to know, and they even give you other formulas. Here's a copy of the 7th grade reference sheet where they give you formulas for area, circumference, volume, so for different shapes. We're concerned with the circle, so that's what we're going to focus on our attention to. So let me bring those formulas here. And the formula for a circle is area equals pi r squared. So now I'm introducing the area formula to you. I like to write it as area equals pi times radius, because some people are unfamiliar with the square term, which means bringing it to an exponent of 2. So in case you are, don't worry, just multiply it twice, the radius times radius, and then you multiply that by pi. The circumference formula is similar. You have pi times diameter. That's one way, and I'll talk about a shortcut I like to talk about there. And the circumference formula is also 2 pi r. What do you mean 2 pi r? Well, remember, we said a diameter could be 2 of those little radii or radius, and that is 1 diameter. So you need 2 of those to give you 1 diameter. So that's why the formula for this will be 2 times pi times radius. All right, so let's do some examples to see if we get it. Oh, okay. Find the area and circumference and leave your answer in terms of pi notation. And what's pi notation, Dr. Rob? That means you don't have to multiply by that 3.1415 and all of that other stuff that goes with pi. You can leave your answer just as your number next to pi because you're growing up to be big boys and girl math students. So here we got a long line. If you remember, the long line is the diameter. So that's 4. So what do you think the radius is? Half of that is correct because the half, it's all we need, just half of the size of 4 is 2. Now that I got 4 and 2, all I got to use is my formula for area. Here's a nice trick I like to use for area. I'll write out the word area, and I know A stands for area. And I look at the second letter, though. Notice it's R. It's R. R stands for radius. So that means I got to use the radius in this formula 2 times. So radius times radius. So I'm going to take the pi, which I need, and multiply it by 2 times 2 again. And 2 times 2 is equal to 4. And I'm going to leave the pi right there. I don't have to multiply in my calculator using pi. So area is going to equal to 4 pi. And now I got to find the circumference. And I'm going to share with you another trick I like to use for circumference. C is for circumference. We know the formula is pi times diameter. And I like that formula a little bit better because I know what the diameter is already. So I put C together with D. CD, if you look at the circle, it looks like a CD. CD is a round disc, and that means the CD goes together. So that means when I have my formula for pi, I need to get the diameter next to it. So what's the diameter? Diameter is 4. So what's nice about it, I can leave this as my circumference equals pi times 4. Or you can write it backwards, 4 pi. They usually like the number first. So that will be our answer in terms of pi. So pi notation means you can leave your answer just like that. You don't have to worry about multiplying. Okay? All right. So here's one for you. Find the area and circumference of, and leave your answer in terms of pi again. So you see a nice long line there, 10 yards. And if you remember that 10 is a long line, so that means the long line is Big Daddy diameter. And I remember circumference goes with the letter D, CD. And all I have to do is put a pi next to the diameter. So if I get the diameter, which is 10, all I got to do is put the 10 next to the pi. So my circumference will be pi 10, which is equal to 10 pi. So my circumference is CD, 10 pi. And I said, leave it in pi form. That's all I got to do. Really, Dr. Rob? Yes. Uh-oh, I didn't find the area. Well, how do you spell area, Dr. Rob? A for area, R for radius. And you have 2 letters left over, so that means I got to multiply it twice. So area equals radius times radius again. And I will have my radius in a second because I know it's the little guy. He's half the size of the diameter. So it's just this little short line. Half of 10 is, if you said 5, great. You are rolling with this thing. Oh, boy, 1 minute math is such fun. So 5 times 5 is 25. And all I got to do is put a pi next to it. And that is my A for area. Okay, so 25 pi, and what's nice is they said we can leave it in pi notation because you're growing up to be big boy and girl mathematics students. So here's one for you. See if you can figure out what's the A area, C circumference, R radius, D diameter. I hope you understand what's going on. If you're not sure, rewatch the video, write down your questions. You can even write me in the YouTube channel there, and I'll be glad to answer you back. Uh-oh, this is not good because it said find the area and circumference, but it now says round your answer to the nearest 100. So we got to use a calculator to do this. Well, what I'll do is I'll first do it in pi notation and then press my pi button because there's a pi button you have to use. So I have a little short line, the little runt, and that's 16. So that's the radius. So I'm trying to find the area because area equals radius times radius is what I need with the letter pi at the end for pi notation. So the radius is 16. That'll be 16 times pi. 16 times 16 is 256. and that'll be pi next to it. So my area is equal to 256 pi. Now all I need to do is find circumference, and circumference, I need the diameter. So the diameter is twice the size. So that means I need another 16 here centimeters to get the whole long line. So the whole long line would be 16 plus 16, which is 32 centimeters. So the diameter is 32, twice the size of the radius. And now, remember, CD, they go together. CD, and I'll put the diameter of 32 and put a little pi sign at the end, because C for circumference is equal to 32 pi. And there is my answer. Now, Dr. Roberts said you had to answer round your answer, though, to the nearest hundredth. Well, what that means now, what you got to do is you got to get your calculator, and pardon me, because I don't have my calculator. Let me get it out, and while it's coming up, in getting your calculator, there's a button called pi that you have to use. So let me clear this off, and let's look at the area. 256 is there, and the button over there, it's on the left side. It has pi. If you press that and press enter, it'll give you your answer. Oh, let's see. I just got 56 pi, 256 pi. Let me change the mode to classic, so that way I can get my answer the way it needs to be. All right, so classic, and let's quit out of that. So 256 pi. There we go. And let me pull that out and take a look at this answer, because we got to round this off. So the area is 256 pi, but pi is being multiplied, and you don't have to worry about your good old dependable calculator. It knows pi notation and multiplies it for you. But you got to round to the nearest hundredth. If you checked out my video on rounding to the nearest hundredth, your hundredth place is here, 2 places over, past the decimal, go next door. If that's 5 or more, you would give this guy 4 a shove up by 1, and then get rid of all of that stuff, and he would be 804.25 square centimeters. And area is always squared. All right, so we got 804. Now let's get our calculator one more time and type 32 pi, press enter, and there's our answer for the circumference, 153.0. And I'm going to round him off to the nearest hundredth also. Let me pull him down a little bit. So I'm going to round him off to the nearest hundredth, and here's the hundredth place right there. That's we go next door to the next number, which is 0. If it's 5 or above, we shove him up by 1, but he's 4 below, we let all that stuff go. So our answer is going to be 100.53 only centimeters, because it's not square centimeters. It's only a distance. So so 103.53 and 804.25 square centimeters. So that was a good question. The only thing is, it brought us back to the baby stuff that you used to do in elementary school, using the button to round off. But we use calculators now, so to help us that, because I believe you use 3.14 or something of equivalent to that for rounding for pi. But now that you're in secondary math, you get to use a calculator to get you a little bit more exact on your numbers. So here's another one for you: area and circumference. Find it, round the answer to the nearest hundredth. So me, what I would do is I would see what this is. Is it a radius, or is it a diameter? Once you know that, remember which goes together, and see if you can get your answer. So you try that one. Here's another one for you. And I see this is a long line. So that's not like the other short line. So remember, the long line is the big daddy. So figure out that. So I hope you're getting this. If you're not getting this, then I'm sorry I went too fast. You might need to call Dollar Teacher Homework Helpline. Those people are good and helpful people. So give them a call. They will help you out. And if you want to get their number is 212-777-3380, Monday to Thursday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Give them a call. They'll help you out. Check out my YouTube study videos on YouTube. My channel name is Dan Robinson. Subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. Write me a comment. I do write back. Check out our latest release, PKMS Math Prep 22. I was just looking at it on TV. So I think it's a great movie. You should check it out. Tweet me at drobmath1. If you desire more information on what we just did, write me at drobinson@peekskillschools.org. I'll send you a worksheet. Hey, there's Kinsley from Math Prep 21. So Kinsley, I saw you the other day too. You're doing good, girl. Keep it up. Good luck on your math exam. I know you're going to do well because you've been watching our videos. So keep watching and subscribe. Tell your friends. So I hope you enjoyed our 1 minute math, more like 5 minutes because we got into a little practicing. So of area and circumference of a circle. This is Dr. Robinson signing off. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.